Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into the invisible force that shapes pretty much everything you think, feel, and do. It's called social psychology, and trust me, it's got way more influence over you than you probably realize. I mean, have you ever really thought about it? Why you suddenly need that gadget you just saw an ad for? Or why some people just seem to light up a room while others kind of shrink into the background? These are just random little quirks of life. They're the big questions at the very heart of social psychology. And yeah, the answers are all right there in social psychology. But knowing this stuff, well, it brings up a huge question. Does understanding these hidden forces feel like you're caught in some kind of troublesome trap? Or is it actually a powerful tool that can set you free? That's the real tension we're going to unpack today. So here's our game plan. First, we'll nail down what it is. Then we'll look at the case for it being a burden, and then the case for it being a benefit. After that, we'll reach a verdict, and we'll wrap up with a social toolkit you can start using, like, today.
All right, let's get into it. Section 1. What is social psychology? Simply put, it's the science of us. So the official definition says it's the study of how the real or imagined presence of others influences us. And that word imagined, that's the real kicker. It's not just about what you do when you're in a crowd. It's about picturing your friend's reaction when you pick out an outfit, or hearing your boss's voice in your head when you're writing an email. That's social psychology too. And this field covers some massive areas of our lives. You've got social influence, like when a friend's rave review sends you running to a new movie. You've got our attitudes and biases, those split-second gut feelings we have about people. There's group dynamics, why you act one way with your family and a totally different way with your coworkers. And of course, social identity, how being a sports fan or a parent or a city dweller, how that shapes who you are. And the impact of all this, it's huge. I mean, research suggests that up to 60% of our decisions are driven by social influence. Think about that. More than half of the choices you feel like you're making, from what you wear to what you do for a living, are actually being shaped by the people around you.
Let's make this super clear. Imagine Emma. She's at a cafe in New York. She's a tea drinker, always has been. But all her friends are ordering this trendy oat milk latte. And she feels this little nudge. And before she knows it, she's ordering one too, just to fit in. That tiny moment, that's it. That's social influence in a nutshell. But, knowing that these forces exist can be pretty unsettling. Which leads us right into section 2. Is this knowledge actually a troublesome burden? Because when you start seeing these invisible strings everywhere, it can totally feel like a burden. You start to realize you might not be the master of your own destiny. You're suddenly face to face with your own uncomfortable biases. And honestly, it feels kind of bad to admit how easily we'll just go with the flow to avoid rocking the boat. And that pressure to conform, it is no joke. Classic studies found that about 70% of us, 7 out of 10 people, will agree with a group's opinion at least once, even when we know for a fact that the group is wrong. That's wild. And this feeling, it's perfectly captured by Liam, an employee in London. He was in a meeting, saw his whole team backing a really bad idea. He knew it was a mistake, but he said nothing. He later said, "I felt frustrated for not speaking up." And man, who can't relate to that feeling of powerlessness? Okay, but is it really about being powerless, or is there another way to see all this? Let's flip the script. Section 3, is this an empowering benefit? So is that feeling of being trapped by outside forces the whole story? I don't think so, not by a long shot. What if we reframe this? What if social psychology isn't a trap that's designed to catch us, but instead it's a flashlight that shows us the way forward, letting us see everything clearly so we can choose our own path? And the proof for this benefit is just wow. The famous Harvard study of adult development, which has been going for over 80 years, found the single most important factor for a happy, healthy life, and you can see it right here. It wasn't money, it wasn't a fancy career, it was the quality of our relationships. And social psychology, well, that's the instruction manual for improving those relationships. And when you actually use that flashlight, the results are incredible. One study found that people who actively apply these ideas, like really practicing empathy, report being up to 40% more satisfied with their relationships. That's not a small thing. That's a life-changing difference. So let's go back to our stories. Remember Liam, feeling frustrated and powerless? Now let's meet Maria in Paris. Her friends are all loving this movie that she thought was just awful. But instead of just nodding along, she recognizes that group pressure for what it is. And she decides to speak up. She shares her real opinion, and guess what? It doesn't cause a fight.
It starts this amazing, deep conversation that actually brings them all closer. Now that is empowerment.
So we've got two totally different stories here, right? A burden on one hand and a benefit on the other. This brings us to Section 4, the verdict. Let's weigh the evidence.
Okay, let's put it on the scales. On the burden side, you've got feeling disempowered, dealing with guilt, and maybe even more anxiety. But on the benefit side, you get to build real empathy, you can push for fairness, and you can seriously boost your own mental health through stronger connections.
So here's the bottom line. Yeah, that first moment of awareness can be a little uncomfortable, but the benefits you get from it are absolutely transformative. The verdict is in, and it's crystal clear. Social psychology is a benefit. It turns that awareness into true empowerment. It's the flashlight, not the trap.
So, how do we actually start using that flashlight? That brings us to our final section, your social psychology toolkit, with 5 killer strategies for your daily life. Here are 5 simple but powerful tools. Think of them as a cycle. You start by practicing empathy, really trying to see things from another's view. That empathy then helps you challenge your own biases. And when you do that, you get the strength to resist group pressure. This allows you to build genuine social connections, all by staying mindful and present in the moment. And listen, these aren't just some dusty old theories from a textbook. They are practical, real-world tools for navigating the messy, beautiful, complicated social world we all live in. They're your guide to building a better, more authentic, and more connected life.
So really, the power is in your hands now. You've got the flashlight. The only question left to ask is this: how are you going to use these tools to consciously shape your social world instead of just letting it unconsciously shape you?